All right, we are on Facebook Live. Perfect. That works. Okay. Oh. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Cordelia.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
I am fine. I'm going to share my screen for a moment. Ooh, look at you. Yay. Welcome. Oh, I love that background.
Thank you.
So vibrant, mashallah.
MashaAllah.
Thank you so much. We're excited. Can't wait to dive in.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. It'll be a good time. Yeah.
It looks like you're warm. You're keeping warm. It's been so cold all of a sudden.
I know. Like, what month is it again?
What happened to the
Alhamdulillah, though, it could be worse because on the other end, we would complain it's too hot. Yeah.
Right. So no, I'm not to complain. Just interesting how we had to turn up the air conditioning again. Try to keep it warm. Sister Rashida's here now. Oh wow, it's great to see folks logging in. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Peace and blessings. All right. Oh, I wish, Miriam, if you can hear me, I don't think your speaker is working. Sister Cordelia, Miriam is actually in Egypt, and she has a maternal care program that she runs there as well. So it'll be nice to hear from her at some point too. This is amazing. Okay, let me respond. Okay, ladies. Thanks for joining. And we're also on Facebook Live. Just want to make sure everyone knows that. All right. Okay, Assalamu alaikum and welcome everyone. Just waiting for folks to gather in. We have about 2 more minutes and we'll get going.
Where are you on Facebook Live?
On the Afia Project
Page.
page, yeah. Am I able to connect you? I wonder if I could do that. But yeah, look up the Afia Project. Do you see it?
Okay. I'm looking for it.
Oh, okay.
I found the page, but I don't see that you're live. But I guess it's not live yet, right?
It is. Hold on. Let me make sure. I just checked it, but let me check again. It's on. It popped up. It's on. Let me see if I can tag you on it. Did you hear that? Okay, so it is 12 noon. Mashallah, maybe we'll give folks 2 more minutes or so, and then we'll get going. Let's see. We have quite a good number of folks already on. All right, I'm back. I would like to be respectful of the time for those who logged on time. I really appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for your patience, and thanks for logging on time. So yeah, I think we should go ahead and get started. Inshallah. Let's see. All right. So Bismillah, just a few housekeeping things as usual. Please ensure that your mics are muted, ladies, and only unmute when you need to discuss something or make a comment, just to reduce the background noise. We ask that if your camera is on, please maintain some decorum as everyone is able to see you. We tend to forget that these days. We ask that you please type in your questions into the chat function, and I'll try to manage that to the best of my ability. For those who do not know, my name is Demi Fozia Adebo Adelaja. I am the founder of the AFIA Project. Just a quick intro of our organization. The AFIA Project, we are the wellness organization, and we aim to address health disparities. We really want to disrupt health disparities. For those who may not know, Afia is an Arabic term that encompasses the well-being of an individual. So Afia includes being in a state of good health, being safeguarded from afflictions, and having adequate sustenance. So today we're going to be discussing one arm of the Afia project, which is our maternal and child health program that we have dubbed the. Can't go to my next slide. It's hard to manage this sometimes. Hang on. Which we call the SisterCare Village. Okay, this is becoming a lot. Can you let folks in, Ramatullah? I made you co-host. Are you able to? All right. Apologies for that. So with the SisterCare Village, we focus on three main areas, which is providing resources for Black women, mentorship and advocacy for them, for women who are going through their maternal journey. So it ranges from, pre-pregnancy phases to pregnancy to postpartum as well. So with any organization that's brand new, we're definitely looking at grants, trying to increase, get some funding, increase our reach in the community. So please, if you have any ideas, you have any connections with funding agencies and things like that, so that we can bring this kind of programming to you on a larger scale, please let us know. And also you can certainly donate to our funds as well. Without further ado, I am going to go ahead and hand this over to Ramatullah, who is one of our maternal guides, who will be facilitating this, this virtual brunch today. All righty, so up to you.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. How's everybody doing? So today we have Sister Cordelia Gaffar, who is going to speak to us today about nutrition. I'm going to give a brief intro on her, and then I will pass it on to her and have her bless us today with her wealth of information that I am looking forward to. I have so many questions already that I'm hoping that we're able to get to it today. So Sister Gaffar is the transformation strategist for the courageous leaders, guiding them to be self-aware and operate in full self-trust. 2020 was a year full of very difficult conversations surrounding diversity, equity, belonging, and inclusion. And Ms. Gaffar has been at the forefront of facilitating this conversation on an organizational level. In 2021, along with award-winning Berlin-based co-hosts Mira and Peter Griffiths, created they created the Unlearning Labels podcast and workshop to help organizations to implement actionable tools and changing policies. She is also a force in women's empowerment and was awarded top national influencer, a sexy, brilliant ambassador and leader, and inducted, into the Global Library of Female Authors. Her new book, Detached Love, Transforming Your Heart So That You Can Transform Your Mind, highlights her Replenish Me process, which is a self-leadership surrounding practicing sustainable mindfulness. Her other awards include Best Podcast Host for 2019 for her Free to Be podcast, Volunteer of the Year, and best-selling co-author of American Leading Ladies Who Positively Impact the World with Oprah Winfrey and others, several dynamic women. Even with all of her accolades, her biggest brag is homeschooling 6 children. As soon sorry as I was so excited about that part. Your home, like, that's amazing, homeschooling 6 children, like, amazing. As seen on American Meditating Radio, British Muslim TV, spiritual podcast, also featured on South American Radio 786 and Fox News. Gaffar has done so much. In reading her bio, I'm extremely inspired. As I stated, I'm looking forward to hearing more about what she's going to talk about today. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Sister Gaffar.
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah khair. That was beautiful, rahmatullahi. And I'm really excited to be here too. I have like a presentation. I'm not really big on sharing slides though. So I'm going to start out just asking, I like to know who's in the room. So if you can just put in the chat, like, who's pregnant, right? And if you're pregnant, put that in the chat, or if you're planning on conceiving, put that in the chat as well. The information that I'm going to share with you today has, there's another book that I wrote. So I've written 7 books total. And one of them is called okay, somebody's pregnant. Yay. That's awesome. And so I wrote a book specific to pregnancy, and it's planning for conception, and also, oh, you're pregnant too. Okay, awesome. Mashallah. And then immediately postpartum. So like, what's not in my bio is that I actually had 2 miscarriages in between my first and second children. And then after my second child, I had postpartum depression. So even though I have a degree in accounting, I have a certification in sports nutrition, and I've developed a program specific to your emotions, which I call Replenish Me. The first part of my life, I guess, my oldest is 21 years old. So like 20 years ago, I started researching about pregnancy, and I wanted to be able to conceive seamlessly. So that's what I'm really sharing with you today. And as you can see, I had 6 kids, right? So it was like a rinse and repeat process. And as I got older, contrary to what we're taught, my pregnancies actually got better. With that, let's see, let me get the total count on how many people we've got pregnant here. We've got 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, 5, planning to conceive. Okay, awesome. I'm just curious, anybody over the age of 35? So, because I had my last child at 42. So, which is another thing that I decided would be neat to roll into the mix. So let me get this in presentation mode. Okay. Okay. Fatima. Okay. So let's see. I tried to throw in everything else. Oh, what else you don't know about me is, right. So my oldest one, my 21-year-old was delivered at home. My sister delivered her. I was actually sent home from the hospital and ended up having what's qualified as an unassisted home birth for my first child. And then the last three, I actually hired a midwife and a doula, a home midwife. So I had the last three at home. And I already told you I healed myself from postpartum depression and miscarriages. All right. So today I was thinking like, what's the best way to really get into this, right? I know I'm going to talk a lot about nutrition because it's, there's no way to get around that. But the things that we have to understand is like, everything's all intertwined and connected, right? So along with a lot of the things that I studied, of course, as a Muslim, I happened upon traditional Islamic medicine, which is called Unani Tib. And with this, we understand that there's 6 lifestyle areas. So I just pulled a little bit out of that, but it always comes back to nutrition. So my focus today is going to be on physical conditioning, and physical conditioning, right? We live in a vessel. So that's going to be our food, our movement, and those kind of things. Practical tips, because we live in a vessel and we have other people that need to help us so we can actually stay on board with what we're doing. Spiritual conditioning, awareness, and statistics, and then where you can get other support. There's other women in my network. So with that, let's just get into it. So first of all, we have to create habits that support us. And a lot of people don't understand that nutrition and hydration are cumulative. So whatever you're doing now, if you're planning on conceiving, make that your habit, right? So that will support you and continuing that during pregnancy and postpartum. And then it just becomes a lifestyle. Again, like I said, we live in a vessel and our bodies were made for movement. You may notice, like if you sit too much, that your back hurts or your knees hurt or something like this. So you see her holding the little weights. Yeah, lifting weights during pregnancy is a thing. And that really helps. It helps 2 things, right? It's going to help you to have a healthier heart. It'll give you strength for delivery and it'll make you hungry. So, which is what it's all about. And when we talk about nutrition, I want to really talk about this in particular when it comes to creating an optimal environment inside of your body. Now, this is a little bit mindset and a little bit like nutrition. We all have heard, right? And maybe even experienced. I have for 1 or 2 pregnancies that you'll be nauseous, in your first trimester, maybe up to your second trimester. But guess what? Fun fact, that's not normal. You should not be nauseous. In fact, if you are nauseous, that is a sign that you're dehydrated and you're not getting the proper nutrients. So something that you can start doing pre-conception is getting a lot of minerals. We're always talking about supplements, right? You can get supplements, but the most basic thing you can do is every single day, starting from right now, is start your day with warm water with a little bit of Himalayan salt, like maybe a pinch, and just enough that you barely taste it. The great thing about this is Himalayan salt has like 84 of the minerals that your body needs, along with vitamins that your body needs. and it's a great natural detoxifier. Now, this is what you want to do before you have your first cup of actual water, because it sets the tone for your digestive tract to absorb all the nutrients out of the foods that you eat. And this is like the most natural way to do it. Now, eating well is a standard. So instead of using the supplements, prenatal vitamins or whatever, there's some things that are on this planet that we can just like go ahead and eat. And so what I recommend and what, I've used for myself and with some of my clients are the list of herbs at the top. So I'll break it down for you what they actually do for your body. Red raspberry leaf, you've probably heard of, right? And that's supposed to tone your uterus, which is great before, after, during pregnancy, right? Because a toned uterus means that you'll have normal contractions during your menstrual cycle, that you will have good tone to hold the baby during the pregnancy, and that everything that's supposed to pass in the 40 days postpartum will go out easily. Oat straw and horsetail are really awesome for building your muscles, your nervous system, and your bones. So I know we're always told, just take some calcium or whatever like that. But oat straw and horsetail, they are like the basic building blocks for what your bones and muscles need in order to be strong. So, and then nettle is like the multivitamin of the universe. So, and just, I want to say these herbs are all available in North America and Western Europe. I feel like nettle may be available in parts of Africa, not really sure, but I know the Asian equivalent of nettle would be neem. Neem is a tree, however, in Asia, and it has a lot more things that it can do for the body. You can even use the oil from neem. You've probably seen neem oil for your hair or whatever. But nettle is a plant, and it usually will be around like streams or just a few feet away from a stream underneath trees. Alfalfa, you've probably had that on your salad before. And so this is also a really good source just to add to the pile. Now, what you can do with all these herbs, you can go to websites like Mountain Rose Herbs or Flower Power, which is out in New York. If you care about your carbon footprint, Mountain Rose Herbs is West Coast. And they have, sometimes it'll be like a maternal mix, but basically you make like a tonic out of it and you can just sip on that throughout the day. So that would be after there's a pattern here. So you have your Himalayan salt water, and then this. Now, I know a lot of times people think that the best thing to do is to have meat-based protein, but plant-based protein has its space. And going back to the point about nausea, if you're feeling nauseous, maybe this is a time to consider looking at some plant-based proteins. What really supported me well through most of my pregnancies was chia seeds, right? So I know Sister Fauzia, I've always like recommended chia seeds, and she was just like, yeah, it's like, yeah, texture isn't great, but here's a workaround. You can, again, use warm water, like 12 to 16 ounces of warm water and like 1 to 2 tablespoons of the chia seeds. And it's a little bit better in warm water. Yeah, I can't do anything about the texture. It is what it is. But the great thing about chia seeds is it has like 19 of the amino acids. We've got 21 total in our body. And again, it's the building blocks to make so your body can make protein. You see what I'm doing here? So rather than just straight, getting supplements or something that has the end product, this is a way to pour into your body, replenish your body, and allow it to build these things. And the beautiful part of that is, you know, as a person is growing inside your body, you're renewing and building your own body, right? At the same time. So you're building new cells and you have a new person inside of you. And so this is going to be easier on your system. Hemp seeds is another thing that I suggest. You can put that in a smoothie. You can put that on top of yogurt if you eat yogurt, or on top of a salad. I call this 3-minute greens. So 3-minute greens, what that is basically you're taking bitter greens. This is another way to build your gut flora, right? So gut flora is super important. We know that we essentially have 3 brains. I don't know if you guys all know that, but your stomach directly affects the way your hormones are processed, the way you think, and I'm going to keep going back to your neural pathways. So, and that also is going to affect the gut flora of the baby that's growing inside of you. So what the American diet is missing are 2 things: bitter greens and niacin. I'll get to that obviously at the end of the list here. So the bitter greens I know we're all aware of dandelion now, but you can always use something like mustard greens or turnip greens or beet greens. And just to make it easier, you can, more palatable, you can mix it with some sweet greens. And the sweet greens would be like bok choy or spinach or kale. And, so that just makes it easier. But the 3-minute greens, the idea is you want to take 2 bitter ones, 1 sweet one. You take a little bit of garlic and ginger and coconut oil, saute that, throw the greens in there, stir it around for 3 minutes, and then you eat it, because it has to be that consistency. And that will allow your body to have access to calcium, right? That's the other part of the bitter greens, is you have more calcium. Pistachios, again, I've got a great story with pistachios. I'm not going to tell the whole thing, but the highlight is one of my babies, when she nursed for almost 3 years, and when she stopped nursing, the only thing she would eat is pistachios. And I was like, subhanallah, my baby's going to die, So we'll come to find out. I looked it up, and pistachios, kind of like chia seeds, they have, like, if you eat, chia seeds, pistachios, and drink water, you can actually live, because they have chromium, which balances your sugar levels. It has like some omega-3s and omega-6s, great for your brain, right? And that's another thing about plant-based proteins, especially with our oceans not really being taken care of these days. We don't want to eat fish. So you can always have pistachios or almonds or walnuts to cover the omega-3s and omega-6s for the development of your child's brain. And then you can always roast root vegetables. So root vegetables would be like turnips. I know these are all delicious, right? And beets and carrots and parsnips, stuff like that. And Brussels sprouts are really great for your nervous system as well. And then I'm going to just skip on down to the niacin, because my story with postpartum depression, when I was researching like how to heal that, of course, when I went to my doctor, she wanted to give me an antidepressant, and I didn't want one. And I found out that what really activates when you are growing a male child, right? Your body needs more B3, which is niacin, to support the testosterone levels, that increase in your body. So these are some of the foods that I use to support me and overcoming that. Yes, everybody's favorite, liver, yay. And but the great thing is, we have like liver masala that you can put with it. And those spices, they do more than to make it delicious. Actually, the combination of spices and the masala help to stabilize some of the, I guess, the taste, right? The pungency of the flavor. And at the same time, it makes it easy for your stomach to receive. And then, peanuts, brown rice, avocados, mushrooms. I could do a whole different talk about mushrooms and fungi, what it does for the woman's body. Anyway, so there's that. Specific to your first trimester, though. So those are all foods that you want to eat, like if you're planning to conceive and all time, all during your pregnancy, whatever. These are things that you definitely want to do during the first trimester, though. Again, herbs, the same thing. Plant-based protein, same thing. You want to have your fruits and vegetables. If you're not a water drinker and it's a ramp up for you to get there, fruits are a great way to hydrate. And then, of course, whether or not you're having a male child, we never know in the first trimester anyway. It's always a good practice to have Nisene incorporated into your diet because of your own hormonal levels that are going to be vacillating. And then, like some of the things that I mentioned, foods that you want to avoid definitely in the first trimester, or if you're planning on conceiving. We know that corn's been, well, maybe you don't know, but it's been genetically modified at least for the past 30, 35 years. So stay away from that. There's also a website where you can look up the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. It actually is updated every May. So if you do a search on that, I didn't put the website in here because it's changed. So, but yeah, if you look that up, you want to just make sure that you're eating the food off of the Clean 15 and staying away from the stuff that's on the Dirty Dozen. Consistently, peaches, nectarines, strawberries are on the Dirty Dozen. How crazy is that? Collard greens are on the Dirty Dozen. It's almost like they're out to get us, man, like all the stuff that we love, right? And so, but just what's on the Clean 15, some of the things are like pineapple and kiwi, grapefruit, stuff like that. But pineapple, it's not really great for the body. I usually recommend, you may have seen on the other list, papaya, because that's actually astronomically high in vitamin C. And that was another practice I did because I love coffee. Who else loves coffee? Oh my gosh, that was so hard. Like during pregnancy, I'm like, what do I do? So like vitamin C is the best way to have more energy, and actually coffee really is a depressant, especially the quantities that I drink. I don't know about you guys, but so vitamin C is way better at giving you more energy. And so like goji berries, we probably don't have so much access now because of COVID, because that comes from usually all the way East China, like near all the way East China, all the way East Asia. And what again? Wolfberries, gooseberries, those are super, super high. Some of the things, South America, North America, we have mangoes, papaya, and golden berries. So, and cranberries. So that's something to think about. Obviously, if you like sushi, yeah, when you're pregnant, that's not the time to eat that. So, and what makes nutrition really work is sleep. So it's great to eat the right foods, but here's the thing. I keep talking about your hormones, and we know that your hormones are raging during pregnancy. So one of the things that helps to regulate that is sleeping. And so I put together this graphic. I can actually send it to you because this is teeny tiny, but this is going to help you whether you're pregnant or not. And you'll notice that I keep saying whether you're pregnant or not, because it has to be your lifestyle. Because guess what? After the baby comes out, then you have to still take care of yourself, because now you've got a child to take care of, and like you need energy for that, because those people are very demanding when they first get here. And it doesn't stop. Like, yeah, like I have a 21-year-old and it's like still going. I thought it was over when they moved out, but it doesn't happen like that. So anyway, sleep. Yeah, so eat all your, and I'm not one of those people that you have to have a morning routine, you have to eat breakfast. However, recognize if you're not a breakfast eater, definitely eat all your food before the sun goes down. So if your first meal of the day is at noon, that's fine. Just make it the hugest meal of the day, right? Don't wait until right before bed to be like, oh, you know what? I didn't eat all day. I'm starving to death. Nope. You eat all the food early. And the reason for that is, several things, but the top two things are if you've ever eaten a lot of food right before bed, you get heartburn. If you're pregnant and you do that, oh my God, you might throw up. I did. But, so definitely eat more food early. Go outside, even in the rain, even in the cold. It's really good for you, actually. And, you'll get access to normal sunlight, even in the rain or the snow or whatever. And that'll give you an opportunity to move. So if you're not someone who likes to exercise, at least walk at least 30 to 40 minutes a day when you're pregnant. Because that will help you to, circulation is the main thing that goes when you're pregnant. The next thing is you want your hips to be, ready for delivery. Walking is really the best exercise. And then it's an aerobic exercise. So that helps you, again, circulation and oxygen flow. Above and beyond that, if you want to do more, right? Like you saw the little weights, lift weights, and not crazy big weights, like 2 pounds is more than enough unless that's your practice already. And anything that you're already doing preconception, definitely keep doing. Don't take on anything new when you're pregnant. If you're planning on conceiving, Kundalini yoga specifically is good because it opens your hips and you'll learn new breathing techniques, and it will strengthen your pelvic floor, which will do two things. It'll make it easier for delivery, and it will make it easier for recovery postpartum. And I know we're all women here, and forgive me if you're offended, but if you do Kundalini yoga or any kind of floor strengthening, pelvic floor strengthening exercise, you won't be one of those mothers that is like, oh my gosh, I have to wear a diaper after having 2 or 3 kids, so it really, I know like many women laugh about that and make jokes about it, but it's a serious problem, and it's so preventable. It's so easy to prevent. Limit your blue light. So I have these blue blocker glasses. They're so cheap. You can get them on Amazon. So if you work in front of a computer all day, if you are on you just use these blue blockers, that will help you to, that'll help your brain to be shielded from so much of that concentration of light. And it'll make.
Can I just ask a quick question? I'm so
Yeah,
sorry, Sister
sure.
Cordelia. With the blue light, I wonder if folks can get that with their glasses. Do you know, like if you have prescription glasses, you can get something with it?
I don't know. You can ask your optometrist.
I
That's
guess
a good
so.
question. I have a friend that wears glasses, and what they did is they have these blue blockers that can fit over your glasses.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
If anyone has information about that, please share.
And on your phone as well. Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum. There is a filter usually that says a blue light filter. Just
Okay.
FYI, but I think you can get it in your prescription glasses.
And you
Thanks
can
for
also
that.
actually buy I have the blue light glasses for my kids from Amazon. They're
Yeah.
like $8.
Yeah.
And yeah, they don't have any prescription in them, but those are really good too, also to help filter the light, especially for kids that are doing Zoom constantly.
Yeah. Actually, I've been seeing comments, but I see the number of comments. Did anyone actually have a question on anything I've said so far? I don't want to just like vomit information.
I have a comment. Recently, I actually had a really bad case of diarrhea and nausea, and I did not know where it came from. Went to the doctor and everything. They could not find nothing because I didn't have a fever. I didn't have high blood pressure. You just mentioned pineapples. I literally ate a whole pineapple the day before, And when you said that, I was like, oh, I wonder if it was the pineapple. I mean, I was even contracting. Like, that's how bad it was. But you just mentioned pineapple. That didn't even come to my mind until just, I mean, wow. Like, I'm going to make sure I mention that to my doctor when I go see her next week about the pineapple. But wow, that's interesting to know.
Yeah, that is part of the reason why I started doing my own research. Now, my first obstetrician was very good. She actually gave me a book and it had stuff about nutrition in there. But even with that, like over the years, each pregnancy with the latest research, I just would keep finding out more and more about what to eat, what not to eat, and all that stuff. So yeah. Um, Doctors are not taught so much about nutrition, and you got to also understand your own body, just pay attention, because superfoods are not super for everybody. So yeah. All right, where was I? All right, so that was like a lot about nutrition, and all the next stuff I'm talking about is not unrelated, because just like sleep helps you to sleep is the like most natural detoxifier, because that's what your body needs, right? So you go to sleep on time, and then in a perfect world you should wake up and have a good bowel movement, and everything passing. So in Unani Tib, we talk about the sleep and wakefulness and the retention and elimination. So these two things go hand in hand. If you sleeping well and you are awake at the hours that are good for your body, then your retention and elimination should be seamless. So with that, let's talk about practical tips. How are you going to get to sleep? You got to have a team, right? So, but you have to allow yourself to accept the help, right? So receiving is an act of motherhood. Like, wrap your brain around that, because I know we have to do the most as mothers. Yeah, I don't, because unlike probably most of you, my parents died, my mom and my dad, before I even got married. My sisters all live halfway across the country, and my sister-in-law and I were not best friends. So I raised my kids with my husband, and he was a great guy, but fatherhood is not for everybody. So when I had friends that wanted to help, I had to allow myself to receive and not be superwoman. And that gave me time to take a nap. That that allowed me to recognize my energetic capacity. What can I do and what can I not do, and who wants to offer and who's good at good at who cares if someone's good at it? Someone that's going to help you, they're going to do it different from you. But you have to be in the habit, just like we have the sisterhood village that, mashallah, Sister Fauzia has created. You got to have a village to be a mother. And I really want to just impress that upon you. Like, if this is your first child, second child, whatever, don't wait until you have 6 kids like me and then say, you know what, I need a village, like, no, you need a village from the beginning. So like, while you're pregnant, if someone wants to come over and give you your kids sloppy joes, just, alhamdulillah, right? Even though I talked all that stuff about nutrition, it is what it is, right? So, and truthfully, you have to really look at who is on your team, right? What are the people really capable of? I mean, like, if this sister cannot cook, don't accept her sloppy joes, okay? If your kids won't eat that food, then just, but if someone is, mashallah, really willing, and I know many brothers, many people have like really, mashallah, amazing husbands. If your husband wants to help, don't shut him down, let him help you. And just be willing. Now, I actually created a graphic for this too, and I think I'm gonna send you guys both the links. They're in Dropbox, for like how to figure out those people. But the main thing is be communicative. Okay, so slowing down for emotional awareness and nurturing and empowering vocabulary, all that's related, because when you're pregnant, has anyone ever like lost their cool and not said nice things to people while pregnant? Yeah, that happens. So just, I'm not going to tell you to take a breath because that doesn't happen, but I'm going to tell you to pause for the cause of you and for your baby. And just recognize your emotions, even in pregnancy, only last 90 seconds. So just, if you need to brace yourself on a wall or whatever it is, just let yourself feel the power of that emotion and then allow the wisdom to come through, to communicate clearly what support you actually need. Okay. Because this is not the time to lose friends or break relationships. Okay. And execute with relaxed precision. Of course, I can say that because I'm cool like that, right? No, but some questions to ask yourself. Do you trust your team to do what they've committed to do? And that goes back to, you have to align people with things that they're good at, if someone is really good at organizing a meal train, but not good at cooking, give the sister just hand it off. Don't be in charge of that. Are you turning your body towards people? Now, this is an Islamic thing, right? We know that the practice of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he was talking to people, he turned his full body towards them. That will help you with your emotions too when you need to communicate, because a lot of times if you're like side-eyeing or looking away, you just will like not communicate clearly. But if you take the time to move your body towards a person and you look at them, it'll even help you to focus so that you'll say what is appropriate to say and what's necessary. All right. And then, of course, that will help you to choose your words carefully. So that's a great segue into step 3, which is your emotions are spiritual. Okay. So what's happening when you're pregnant is you are literally a portal between 2 worlds, right? You're a vessel and you're bringing a spirit through your body from another world. So the way that, again, it's explained in Unani Tib, and which is related to Tasawwuf on some levels, is that your emotions are a sign of your spiritual connection, right? So your emotions are literally the bridge between your spiritual self and your physical self. So you have to pay attention to them when they come, thus the 90 seconds and wait for the wisdom, because the wisdom is the divine connection, right? And in real life, just you have to express yourself, and you have to have that one friend and be honest. Look, girl, I am so overwhelmed. I can't even see straight. I can't even think straight. I know I need a lot of help. Can you help me with that? It's okay. Just like when you got married, that was a culture shock, right? I mean, even if you guys are from the same culture, even the same block, right? It's a culture shock. So it's the same thing. When you're pregnant, it's just like, we all want to be pregnant. We all want to have a baby, but it's a culture shock. And, you have to have someone to talk to about that. And, of course, we always have Allah, right? So when you're praying, tell Allah how you feel, ask him to give you guidance, ask him to show you, who are those people who are already in my village that are ready and willing to help. And, inshallah, that will help you to get through. And emotions are a gift. Yeah. I mean, just see it for what it is. We have to allow ourselves to experience joy as much as we have to allow ourselves to experience pain and all the emotions in between. because look at the preciousness that Allah is giving us, right? If you're not in connection with your own emotions, if you can't feel compassion for yourself, how are you going to be able to feel compassion for that baby? Because you know what? Some of those people scream like at the wrong time. You're trying to get your sleep on and they're like, ah, you know? And so, but you can really connect with, you know, the like, when you have the compassion for yourself, in their cries, you'll hear their voice and it will like be words. Mom, I need this, right? Because sometimes, and this happened to me, I was really overwhelmed, especially with my second child. And this is how I knew I was experiencing postpartum depression, because with my first child, I was like, you know, instantly in love, and, you know, she was perfect and, you know, all the things. And, you know, I looked into her eyes and she looked into my eyes, and I knew that she needed to nurse or use the bathroom or whatever. My son, he was just like 24/7. And I was like reciting Surah Fatiha all the time. I was like, I don't even know what he needs. But when I finally realized, you know, when I tuned in and focused on my nutrition, right, started eating all those foods to balance my hormones, and I focused on just having compassion for my situation. I'm out of sorts. I can't do all these things, so I'm not going to do all these things. Then I could hear his voice. And, you know, sometimes it was just like, Mom, I'm still getting into my body and I'm not accustomed to being here yet. Just hold me, you know? And that's a thing. So self-awareness is motherhood, because when you're self-aware, you can be with your child and be more aware of what's happening with them. And, you know, that's like once they're out, but while they're still in and you're moving towards labor and delivery, connecting deeply to your body. And this is like really third trimester stuff. And I think, I'm not sure if I have this in a slide. I might have it in a slide, but like what I started to do in my third trimester is really pay attention, because sleep is like, it's bumpy that last trimester, right? And so what happened was I was like, okay, wait a minute, there's a pattern to this. I wake up at 1:30 every night. What's that about? You know, and what is it that I need to do? Am I needing to pray? Am I needing to eat? Am I really thirsty? Do I need to read books? You know, whatever it is, pay attention to that, because subhanAllah, when they come out, it's the same thing. 1:30, they're going to wake up and they're going to want to nurse, right? And or they're going to want to hear your voice because they're accustomed to whatever you were doing that third trimester. And so the fourth trimester really is the first 9 months of your child's life. So get into the habit of being partners while they're inside, and you really get a feel for their personalities that third trimester. So just start taking notes, because they're talking to you. So the ABCs of emotions. And you know, it's so funny because like when I was making the slide, I was like, I didn't even realize it. I was like, oh, wait, that's ABC. I'm just going to call this ABCs anyway. So accept, right? Accept offers for help and just see it for what it is. You know, that sister's not trying to get over on you. Your husband doesn't want anything extra. He actually loves you. You know, it's just like, you know, can I help you? See yourself for who you are and how you are. You used to be Superwoman. Now you've got another human being inside your body. Just chill. You don't have to do the most. Okay. Be with the flow of what you're feeling, because that is the divine connection. You know, if you were wanting to be closer to Allah, pregnancy will do that for you. Okay. Delivery, even more so. And then begin to connect with your baby. Talk to him, her, while they're inside, and pay attention. Okay, there it is. And start documenting like what you're eating, because probably you're gonna have to eat the same foods when you are nursing. So when you're on the path of the divine, you're free, right? And that path is being with your emotions. All right, so step 4, this isn't like I think part of the reason that Sister Rashida reached out to me was, we know that Black women, no matter how educated they are, they're pretty much dying on these delivery rooms. And it's related to a lot of the things that I've already discussed, right? Nutrition and sleep and accepting help. All these things will lower your stress levels and actually stop any of these common things that kill us, right? These are some conditions, and if you notice, there's kind of, I didn't even realize that, but I'm realizing they're mostly cardiovascular or pulmonary. You see that? So it's like cardiovascular disease, and then you have, cardiomyopathy, so these are all things that are stress related, hormone related. You see?
I want to also say what's it? Preconditions, pre-existing conditions sometimes, even before pregnancy.
Right. So there is, I was trying to get that to show up, but yeah, 6.5% they say is they don't know what it is, but probably pre-existing conditions. Yeah. And these are old stats anyway, but the newer stats had to do specifically to to ethnicity, and I think we're mostly all Black here, but I just wanted to let you know, like, outside of ethnicity, these are the specific things. So more things about conditions. Giving birth while diabetic can weaken your heart also. So, and I put conditions in parentheses because, pregnancy is not a pathological condition. It is a very normal, natural thing that happens, and we have been taught as women to fear our bodies. But as I've hopefully conveyed through most of my presentation, it's the most natural, normal, spiritual, elevating process that you can ever experience in life. And when you reframe your whole mindset and heart set surrounding it to not seeing it as a condition or something to get through, that will lower your stress level as well. So don't buy into the propaganda, is what I'm saying. So, and then, let's just really realize the facts here, right? So cardiovascular health during pregnancy, it has lifelong effects. So if you're not taking good care of yourself during pregnancy, if you're not, making sure that you're eating right, incorporating, herbs instead of supplements, and doing more natural forms of hydration, water, vegetables. You can even have raw vegetables. I didn't mention that because everybody doesn't like fruit. And that will help you, because your blood volume is double, right? It's two people there. Your placenta is actually part of your cardiovascular system. And that's even in the delivery process, right? So you deliver the baby and then you deliver the placenta. And that's something to be aware of. With my 5th pregnancy, I had a home birth, right? But I hemorrhaged a lot. And I would have to say during that pregnancy, it was very high stress for me. I took on a new form of exercise during that pregnancy, which, could have contributed. But it was also very bumpy on the emotional front. So if you're having, like, I was having issues in my marriage, just to be completely transparent. And so if you do have those kind of problems, this is really important to get support, because when I passed the placenta, I passed out as well. She almost had to send me to the hospital. So I don't want to dissuade anyone from having a home birth, but I just want you to understand cardiovascular health is a real thing. And obviously I had a 6th child, so I recovered and figured it all out, but just really pay attention to that. And the other thing, I talked about how we're taught to fear our bodies. So this is not to get too political, but this is a money-making proposition. I feel like when hospitals opened the maternity ward, that's when pregnancy had started being seen as a pathological condition. Before that, it was always a woman's thing, and they were always midwives. But in like right around World War II is when they wanted to really bring women into the hospitals. And so when you go for your prenatal visits, they're not checking to see what's right. They're checking to see what's wrong. So you need to pay attention to what's going right and be an informed patient when you go to the doctor for your checkups, and, change that conversation into, here's what's right with me. Here's what's, going well. And I also want to bring attention to this. I had my last child at 42. These women, Holly Berry had her first at 46. Janet Jackson had her first at 50. And Naomi Campbell just had her first at 51. And so, and for centuries, women have been having children all kinds of ages. We know, I'm not actually sure how old Khadijah was when she had her last child, but she was 40 when she got married, right? To the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So, don't be afraid of your body. Allah created your vessel to work a certain way. Flow with the program He created. And that's all the things we were talking about today, with paying attention to your nutrition, your sleep, your, movement, and getting help and support that you need. So here's some other resources available. These are a Mother's Intuition LLC is a friend of mine who is, she's actually a Black and Muslim birth educator. So she has a lot of great tools and articles on her website. Maha El Musa is not Muslim, but she's Palestinian descent. And she is the woman who, with my 5th pregnancy, I started doing belly dancing for birth. That's what she was calling it back then. And she's in Australia, so she offers classes remotely now. And belly dancing is the best exercise for pregnancy and delivery. I still belly dance, and it's really, remember when I was talking about like supporting yourself for your pelvic floor? I'm gonna tell you what, it works. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, and then of course there's my website, because although, my realm of specific expertise is not with, pregnancy or anything like that, I do help you with your emotions. And that's the through thread that you'll see. So my Replenish Me process is all about how to be with your emotions. And that's a lifelong thing. So in summary, optimizing your health for success in pregnancy is your choice, right? You got that physical conditioning, practical tips, all the things that we talked about. So yeah, so you can choose to make your thoughts the bars to your prison or seeds to your growth. And there are some other resources that I'm offering there. So this is, what is it? The Replenish Me Sanctuary. That link is for just recognizing your joy and your brilliance on the regular basis. And if you have any other questions, feel free to connect to me directly. You can just email me. Super easy. hello@cordeliagaffar.com. That's it.
Really quickly, Sister Cordelia, can you copy that link and put it in the chat box? Because I can't do it. Just
I know.
yeah.
Let's see.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I was actually worried that I'd go over time. I was like,
no, you did amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you again. So if you have any questions, we can do this one or two ways. You can put it in the chat and I can read the question for you, or you can unmute yourself and ask the question. So we're having question and answer now. If anyone has any questions.
I want to chime in really quickly. Thank you so much once again, Cordelia. This was excellent. I've had 3 kids. I think I'm done. I think I'm done. But who knows? But some of the things that you mentioned, I found that they're still very much relevant to me, even post childbirth. Having to eat healthy and things like that and staying active. So subhanAllah, it's really nice to have it reinforced. I wanted to point out that things like when you were mentioning like nuts, and I know I just wanted to reiterate it to say, sound it out to folks. The salt intake has always been my issue with these nuts that we find in the stores. And what I found myself doing is I come home and I wash it off and I bake it in the oven once again to get that crisp taste, because I could never do the salt that comes in like pistachios, even peanuts sometimes.
That's a great point. I should have said raw nuts. I don't ever get the roasted nuts. Don't ever get roasted nuts. I get raw nuts for 2 reasons, because I make my own cashew and almond milk. So I always get raw nuts. Yeah.
So if I get them raw, can I roast them myself or
Yes.
not? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
We do have a question in the chat. I'd like to know if there's any tips or directives for women undergoing IVF.
That's a good point. So it was really the same thing. It's like, I guess in this case, preconception, it's really planned out, right? So you just want to make sure that leading up to that, you want to pay attention to your nutrition and whatever it is that you're having issues with specifically, you want to make sure you're supporting that system. I know that sounds like super generic, but it's, that's a pretty specific question. A great person to talk to about that is Amina, and I put those links in the chat. So Amina, sorry, her name's Amina. So the amothersintuition.com, grab that link and reach out to her. So she could really support you with that.
So the question that I have is, it's more on nutrition in general. So as a mother, you're trying to keep yourself healthy, but you have a picky eater at home. So you have picky toddlers at home, or children, period, but you're trying to keep healthy and keep food consistent in the home. Any advice on how to do that, how to deal with picky eaters, so that we're all eating the nuts together, or we're all eating the veggies together, versus just mommy eating it and you're making something totally different for your kids?
That's a great question. So, okay, so there's 2 worldviews I have on picky eaters. Either your children are mirrors of your actual eating habits. Like if you're trying to eat a certain way and that's not natural for you, kids do what they see us do, not what we tell them to do, right? The other worldview I have on that is sometimes the kids, they know what's good for their bodies, right? So I've had instances where a kid was getting sick and I was like trying to figure out, why does she just want to eat like toast, right? So if you have upset stomach, you need something just neutral, right, for your stomach. So they know what their bodies need. So this goes back to, remember when I was talking about being connected with your child and, really paying attention to their, what they're really saying, just when you're in tune with them, you'll know better, like what's really being conveyed there. But in general, what I did when my first 3 were little is I just didn't buy junk food. Like what's in the house is what we're going to eat, period. And if your husband's not on board, too bad. You have to go and eat your junk food somewhere else. Don't bring it in my house. So that's the other way to deal with it, because, the kids don't have one parent, so it could be that too. Does that make sense?
Honestly, it makes a lot of sense. Like if it's not available, you can't eat it. So it makes sense. Yeah. And also the fact that you talked about what they see you eat. So even, in your head, I am eating a salad, but how you're eating the salad and how often and how does it, if it's consistent or not, you're right. It does make a difference.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about sleep that I think we need to revisit it because, again, it cuts across the board. And even before I get into sleep, the issue of being that superwoman thing, especially in pregnancy, how you really have to drop it. I learned fast in my first pregnancy that I can't be that superwoman who feels like the house has to be clean, this has to be perfect. I needed to learn it, and I learned it the hard way by having it really affect me when I realized I couldn't do it all. But just sleep, even with my kids are 13, 9, and 6, even at this age, because we're more lax with their sleep times, especially on weekends. Just just last night, I was like, I'm tired. Why this kid's not tired? Why is my husband not like getting ready to go to sleep? I was like, you know what? I'm leaving y'all. And I went upstairs, got in my bed, and went to sleep. And I later heard them, my husband like directing them, okay, do this and get ready for bed, blah, blah, blah. And it was just affirmation that life will not stop.
Yeah.
Just so you can get everything done and everyone perfectly in bed before you go to bed. Life continues. Like they figured it out. And I'm still learning, it's amazing to me. And I just wanted to put that out there, especially for those who are still dealing with younger kids. I know it seems like they're so needy. If you have a husband, a partner who is willing to work with you, just let them know I need to go to bed now. The kids are your responsibility. And just leave. Because when you're still there, they're still counting on you to do things. They're still counting on you to help them participate in whatever games or whatever things, activities they're doing. But when you leave and say, I'm going to bed, and you literally go and get in bed. They found me in my bed sleeping already, and they figured it out.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So it took me a while to learn that too. In general, my husband knows how to put the kids to sleep. I don't. He could turn off the light and no sleep. If I turn off the light, it's, mommy, but you didn't read this book and you didn't read that book and one more book. And I'm like, what's the difference between the two of us? But like you, I had to learn actually more recently. I'm in bed after I pray shy. And sometimes I don't even pray shy, but I'm in bed, and I will try my best to read a story to them. But once I read it, I walk out and I'm done. We'll pray together and I'm done. My husband takes over. And I had to learn how to let go because I used to feel guilty about it. I thought there was this storybook way of mommy puts the kids to sleep, mommy, the kids go to sleep, the lights will go off.
Nope. No.
Yeah, that book
Wow.
is so
This is a
flawed.
comedy hour. This is like the best joke I've heard all day. I love it.
I read the wrong book and I tossed the book, and I am learning in general, and I'm glad we brought the sleep thing, is understanding what I can and cannot do. As I said, my husband is good with sleep, so I let him do it. And it's okay if that's not my strength when caring for my kids, because as you stated earlier, self-care, learning how to take care of yourself and what to do. And that's a part of it. Knowing that, okay, this is just not my strength. Like it's not putting them to sleep. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's and just accepting that, that seeing who you are for how you are and what your limitations are. So yeah.
Any other questions coming in? You're muted, Ramatullah.
No other questions, but Sister Kudirat Billo thanked us and said she really enjoyed this session. She felt it was informational for both pregnant and non-pregnant women. So, and I agree with her. I think the information was definitely relatable, no matter what stage you're in your pregnancy or in your motherhood.
So just to present the whole idea of the SisterCare Village once again. Again, it's still in its formative year. We're still planning as we go. We're drawing on that board as we go along, and we've heard a lot of listened to you all and heard a lot of your ideas about what to do and how to do it. Well, inshallah, we're going to move towards putting together maybe like a Facebook page, an IG page, and also perhaps even a WhatsApp group where we can start to create our village, so to speak. And this idea of village, subhanAllah, I'm from the DC area, grew up around here. My whole family's here, but when I got married, I moved to Connecticut. Just quick story. It was just me and my husband in Connecticut. I did not know anybody in Connecticut. I don't know what possessed me to move there. But I had to kind of build my village. I didn't have words for what it was I was doing back then, but because I'm very much, I'm a social person. Like I like to interact with other people. Anyone who knows me knows that, I'm very much, oh yeah, let's go hang out. Let's go do this together and stuff. And then when I had my first child, I remember a phone call, I went for a doctor's checkup. Apparently we found out like he has asthma, really bad asthma. Alhamdulillah, it's much better now. But back then we didn't know it was asthma. The pediatrician was like, it sounds like whooping cough. Oh my gosh. I was scared. I'm a public health, I have a public health background. So whooping cough is like, what? My daughter has what? I'm freaking out. She was gonna call an ambulance. My husband was out of town. So I had to drive him because, I'll have to leave the car and then figure out how to get, so all those things. And as I was driving, I called my mom. I was crying with her. She was all the way in Maryland. She couldn't really do much, but alhamdulillah, she was making dua for me, praying with me. And then I just racked my brain, and there was one particular sister among this little village that I didn't know I was creating already, that I called. When I got to the hospital, she came over. My husband didn't make it back in town right away. She was there for me. I was scared. I thought I was going to lose my child, and just that one person being there and having that connection. It's not like she had any kind of medical degree or any knowledge of what's going on, but just that human touch of a familiar face. When you're going through this really difficult time period in your life, was everything to me, and that really made my stay in Connecticut that much easier. Eventually, I came back home, so to speak, to be closer to family. But so I can imagine what it's like for folks who not only just had a baby or got married in another city or state or country entirely separate from what they're used to, but people who actually that's their life. The importance of this in technical terms, in public health terms, we call it creating your social network. What are your social networks? But it's really the same idea of having a village. So that's what we're trying to create here. We're not all experts, but we can try to get experts on different topics to share the information with us. We want to be able to be that place you go to for resources. We want to be able to mentor women, specifically Black women, but we're not going to turn anyone down. And there are reasons why we're focusing on Black women, because we're the ones at the highest risk for maternal and child deaths in America, which is quite unfortunate. But that has a whole host of cultural issues as well. The whole issue of like now trying to promote more doula delivered birth rather than just the medicalization of pregnancy, as you've touched on, Sister Cordelia. That whole mindset, trying to change the mindset of I'm a superwoman, a strong Black woman issue, ideology that I can take it, I'm Black, I'm woman, I can do this. We all need help at some point in our lives, and making it known to folks that that's okay too. So that's what we're trying to create with the SisterCare Village. We hope you all will stay tuned. If you registered for this event, I should at the very least have your email address, and we'll connect with you that way, as well as if you have a phone number that you've left with us, we'll try to connect with you that way to start to build our sister village. And everyone has something to share. Even if you've never had a child, there might be some things you have to share with us. If you've had 6 children like Sister Cordelia, power to you, and you're doing well, you're not going crazy yet, there's something you can share with us. Coping skills and things like that. So all that to say, stay tuned. We are going to continue to provide you all with information. And I wanted to promote a sister's, Sister Miriam program. She had to leave. She is actually physically in, what's it called? Oh, what happened? Am I sharing yet? No, I'm not sharing yet. She's physically in what's it called? In Egypt, but she has a program, a wonderful program. I think I'm sharing now. Yeah. called Miriam's Womb. So she has an upcoming event. It's called Deeply Nourished. It's an Islamic and holistic guide to the last months of pregnancy. So please tune in. Inshallah, I'll try to attend as well. So that's her website, miriamswomb.com, and you can find her on Instagram at Miriam's Womb. She's got a wealth of information available to everyone. All right. In closing, did everyone get that? I'm sorry. I'll try to make it available on the chat shortly, but let me cover this real quick. So we're trying to have this virtual brunch series at least every other month. The next one would be July 18th, 2021. We're trying to secure a guest speaker that we think you're all gonna love. We'll keep you posted on that. We're going to be addressing how to heal after experiencing pregnancy loss. That's something that no one wants to talk about, but yet quite a number of women go through it, and we all suffer in silence for many years for some women. It's quite unfortunate. So we're hoping to be able to present that to you all. It'll be at noon as well, God willing, July 18th. That's all I have. Please be sure, you obviously visit us on our website. We have our email contact at theafiaproject.org. Our phone number is right there. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook, and also on YouTube as well. We changed up our website a little bit, and I wanted to share that with you. Now you can find information about the SisterCare Village right there. And also, if you look up top on the menu offerings, SisterCare Village, so you can connect with us that way. And that's pretty much it for that. Let me stop sharing. So I'm gonna copy and paste the link once again now. So are there any other questions, suggestions, anything anyone wants to? Oh, she's back in the US, I'm sorry. Najla, Sister Najla from Miriam's Womb is back in the US now. Someone just told me. Wayakum, trying to copy and paste her information so you all can have that. Okay, copy. Is there anything else, Sister Ramatullah, you want to add? You're muted.
No, I have nothing else to add. And as Sister Fauzia said, our next topic is a pretty heavy one. We ask that you please share, and we ask our sisters to help us promote, whenever you see our flyers or anything, if you can share with your circle also. This information is definitely dear in our community, it's needed. I don't think we talk enough in our community about pregnancy in general and motherhood. So please share the information with other people within your community as we post.
All right. There's nothing else. We'd like to thank you all once again. Oh, yes, we are recording the session. Someone just asked a question. It's recorded. It'll be available. It's right away on our Facebook page, and then I'll post it onto the YouTube page as well, inshallah. Okay. All right. Wayakum. So if there's nothing else, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, shadu la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Oh, just to mention one more thing. I noticed that there may be some non-Muslims on the group. You are absolutely welcome to join us. I try to translate whatever I'm saying in Arabic into English as well. So if you don't get anything, please just put something in, ask questions in the chat box, and we'll try to answer it. But the Afia Project, and specifically even SisterCare Village, is open to everyone. Okay, we're rooting for everyone Black, like I said. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.